technology. Oh, this is the UK, so I have to dial a lot of numbers because it's the UK, because I'm in America. Okay, it's ringing.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Matt Horn
is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Matt Horn, David Kaye. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California. You know, David Kaye, the voice of... Yes, excellent. You're right. Like it's wrong. So I was wondering where the hell you are. Anyway, give me a call back, man. I'm good to go. Let's do this thing.
On the line, we have David Kaye talking to us. From where are you talking to us from, David?
I'm talking to you from my studio in Los Angeles, California, in the beautiful neighborhood of Toluca Lake. It's in the valley. We're close to Universal Studios and not too far from Warner Brothers and the famous Warner Brothers Ranch. So we're in the little pocket here.
Is it currently locked down?
I had a tough time on the first week and a half, I'd say, sleeping, figuring out like anxiety, like all the stuff.
Yet again, we are talking about COVID-19. COVID-19, which is obviously the elephant in the room. What's it been like for you with this whole crisis?
My concern is we're opening up too soon. They're allowing some states, I guess, like Michigan, I heard this morning, is allowing up to 10 people to get together. I've been ordering groceries, and we've been, very seldom going out. I'm just worried it's all too soon. I think we're in this for a while. I think we just got to be real careful. I'm putting stock and faith in science and our medical community. Someone will find a way. Because the good news is the whole world's working on it, right? There are some good things that happen, that will happen. We don't know what those are yet. But in the process of trying to find a workaround or antivirals or vaccines, they're going to find some other stuff, too, that's going to be, beneficial. I know that there's pockets of good stuff happening out there that we just don't know yet. So, we'll see. The good news is in the voiceover world, we're still kind of cranking away. And that's exciting. We're still doing animation. We're still doing video games. There's a lot of commercials, a lot of projects coming through. So that's good. I'm very, very fortunate to have this studio and working away.
Do you think that when this is all over, production companies are going to utilize home studios a lot more?
Well, they already are. Here's the thing. I remember saying, hey, my agents, I'd say, I'm going to be going away. We're going to be going somewhere, and I'm not going to be available. And I mean, I've had the studio for years. I've had a studio in my house for years. But now there's sort of no excuse to say, well, I'm going to be in New York next week. Oh, no problem. We'll just do it from your rig, or we'll just do it. Now they're going to know it works. So the good news is they can do it. The bad news is you're going to be even less off the grid. So in order to take a holiday or take a break, it's going to be difficult. We have Memorial Day weekend this weekend, and Monday's a holiday, but I'm not even going to ask my agents to say, hey, I'm not available, because right now it's like 24/7. If you're available, you have to be sort of available, right? I mean, I live very close in this community here. Any of your older listeners might remember Bob Hope or Bing Crosby way back in the 40s. Well, Bing Crosby used to live right behind me like years ago. And this is a company town, so everybody you meet out there is either below the line or above the line. I run into Andy Garcia all the time. Well, not now. I'd stay 6 feet away if I do see. And I was delivering a box. I was setting off one of these buttons. Little yes buttons at the post office, and it was creepy to go in the post office because I was wearing a mask. And one guy beside me, we just struck up a conversation. And he works at Warner Brothers, and they've been treating their people pretty well. But there's a ton of people on camera out of work. And so you're going to find that when the things start to come back, instead of like 20 guys or 20 women, doing lighting, you're going to have like 2 people. Instead of like a whole crew, you're going to have, instead of 100 people, there might be 10. That's going to change how things are done. It's going to be more expensive. It's scary, and no one knows, and it's an anxious time. But it's going to be interesting and fascinating to see what comes out of all this. That's my long answer.
Are you fully stocked up? That's the funny question.
I went shopping this morning, actually, to get a few things. I've developed a bit of a habit. I have these routines now. I'm becoming this, like a Howie Mandel, I'm like a germaphobe. And I have routines. I can't go to bed unless okay, shower, then I have to do this, and the brush of teeth, then I do the thing. Then I got to put the mint on my hands and breathe it in. Then I can go to bed. And I put the lip balm on. When I have to go out for groceries, the mask, of course, and I wear the gloves. I come home, clothes off, into the washer, turn the washer on, shower, blah, 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 and then I can relax. I never used to do this. Mocha, like mochas, chocolate almond milk, and coffee. I have to have that in the morning, and I have to sit outside. I pick a little different spot in my yard somewhere, a different perspective, and if I don't have that, I feel off. It's strange. I have these things now. I'm becoming my father in a real hurry. Chocolate, almond milk, and coffee. Trust me, it's really, really good.
Obviously, we're here to talk about your career, which
Yes!
is massive. When I looked at it, I thought, where on earth can I start with this? And I thought, let's go back to when Matt was a teen. Makes sense. I think one of the games I do remember quite fondly, and it spawned this massive franchise from it, was Rachet and Clank.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. I remember Clank.
I remember the first audition. I was living in Vancouver, and I had built a studio in the basement. I had a great little space. I was commuting to Los Angeles at that time on a regular basis, like a lot. It was 10 years in airplanes from Vancouver to LA, back and forth. I remember a fax came through. FAX, remember those? My agent said it's a video game. Like video games I remember growing up with, the sound effects were like, body blow, body blow. That was what I remember. And this was more like a cartoon. And there was a paragraph. It's a robot. He has to have a personality. I mean, it was just a couple lines of dialogue, and I'm like, I don't know. So I I don't know what I was recording on at that time, maybe a DAT tape, or I have no idea. But
I just started talking like this. Instead of saying can't, I would say cannot.
My neck was actually sore after the audition because
My head was kind of going back and forth.
And I sent it in and forgot all about it. A few weeks later, my agent called and said, hey, good news. So they want to hire you for the role of Clank. Okay, I didn't even remember what the hell it was that I read for, and she had to refresh my memory. And I remember the first few sessions we did at Warner Brothers, like on the studio lot. And so here's this kid, from Canada. We're in the process of emigrating at the time, and I was mostly down here by myself and going back and forth. And you're walking on the studio lot on Warner Brothers, and you're like, oh boy, ain't this something? Look at me, Mom, a star. Oh, hello, Conan O'Brien. Oh, hello, famous movie star. They're all walking around, and it's beautiful over there. And I'm in the studio on this big sound stage, and first time I had an opportunity or the experience of having people inside the booth. They're not behind the glass. There's people behind the glass, the engineer, and there's other couple of people. But there were the directors and the audio voice directors and the game creators are in the room with you. So you're in there, and it was really uncomfortable. And I had to get used to that. But I remember the first session thinking, well, this is a video game? This is cool. And I think, what are we, 18 years now out from that? And I'm really crossing my fingers that I'm sure there'd probably be another game. There's no indication that there wouldn't be. But I'm anxious to get back on it again and do more. But yeah, who'd ever thought?
From that little character there.
That me and James Arnold Taylor would be still doing it.
Well, funny enough, you mentioned him, actually. I was going to mention him just now. And I've met him. I've actually interviewed him. This was like ages ago, like about 10 years ago.
Such a great guy. Him and I did a USO tour. We went to the base, to Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is north of Los Angeles here. North of Santa Barbara on the coast. That's where the space program started. That's where they launched some of the rockets. SpaceX went out of there. So we got a chance to tour the base. And James, I spent a whole day with him up there, and just the nicest guy. He gives everybody his time and equal attention, and he's a great dude.
I can only think of Ratchet and Clank at the minute as being the duo of gaming, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
There's not many. I mean, Mario and Luigi are all voiced by Charles Martinet, obviously. I can't think of any other gaming duos that are obviously in the title of the game. So, what do you think it is about the two of you that works so well?
I'm going to say it's like a marriage, you know. We're both we're both obviously different people. I mean, I'm the tall one, and he's, I don't want to say that. People see us and go, wait a minute, you're Clank? It's a marriage of sorts, and we've been doing it a long time. We're both very, very well aware and thankful that we've been given this opportunity to do something we love and to, be voices on a video game. I mean, my God, that's pretty cool. It's a chemistry, I guess. It just clicks. It just works. And we do a lot of stuff on our own. When we did the movie, actually, it was kind of fun because we got to be in the studio at the same time. Because normally, we're in there separately. So we're playing off the direction of the voice director behind the glass and the writers and creators. And you have to pretend that somebody else is talking to you and give those lines their proper read. It's been so long, we just know, how each other is.
As a sort of a franchise itself, why do you think it's so popular?
I think the creatures and the characters and the weapons are so cool. I remember going to Insomniac Games, and I went in there, and they have like big giant models of the actual weapons. And I remember, hey, that's the blaster thing, and I picked it up, and it's a big prop, and it's amazing. I mean, I've known those people over there, Ted Price, for a long time.
I do have to ask this question. Obviously, you've got no control whatsoever, I know. Where would you like to see the franchise go?
I'd love to do a second film. I know the budget wasn't there for the first one, and also there's so much story. My concern about the first one is there's just so much stuff. How do you take all that stuff and put it into one film? One of my favorite characters is Dr. Nefarious, and Armin Shimmerman, of course, he's amazing. I don't know how he doesn't ruin his throat every time he works. As far as the game, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I'd like to be able to put on a headset, like a VR, and be in there with them.
Let's go virtual. Let's go inside. Let's hang out with Rachet and Clank. That would be fun.
See, the question is there. I obviously have to agree with you. That would be a tremendous achievement if they did. Would you want the player to be this third person watching the two of them, or would you want them to play either Ratchet watching Clank or Clank watching Ratchet?
I'd love to be able to sort of, if I wanted to be a Lombax or a helper or a plumber or some kind of other character, to play along with them, to help them out, I don't know how to design a game, but that would be kind of fun to help them along.
I do have to ask the question, which one's your favourite?
Which game?
Yeah.
The first one was good because it's the first one. I'm looking at it right now. I have a few of the games up there. The old PS3. Is it the PS3? PlayStation 2, the very first Ratchet and Clank. It's the first game I'd ever played all the way through. And I remember I stayed up all night long. Never done that before. I went upstairs and woke my wife up at 6:45 in the morning. Hey, what? I finished it. Finished what? The game. I finished the game. Why are you bothering me at 6:45? What are you talking about? And I was all ecstatic. And I felt like crap all day because I hadn't slept all night. So that was the last time I did that.
It's one of those games that's not sort of violent. It's quite cartoonish.
Who doesn't like, firing off a super blaster or something?
I'm not putting ideas in yours or James's head.
Yes, you are. You are so.
But have you guys ever considered a Twitch playthrough?
Yes, we have, actually. I'd like to do that. But I don't know, people really want to see two old guys on Twitch playing Ratchet and Clank? I don't know. The last time we got together for lunch 5 months ago, 6 months ago now, that was the conversation. Hey, man, we should play on Twitch. That came up.
Well, obviously, I have to mention the two other voiceover artists, I suppose they are. They're more mocap, to be honest, which is obviously Nolan North and Troy Baker, who obviously have done the playthroughs of Uncharted, Last of Us. So it is popular.
Those guys are another level on the video game stuff. My agent said, "You sure you don't want to do mocap?" I'm like, I don't know. Those guys love it. They just love it. I'm so used to going in and doing my little, Clank and the other few games I've done. And we're doing a Psychonauts 2 is coming out. I can talk about. It's one thing I can talk about that's coming up is the second Psychonauts, and that was a lot of fun to do. You see, they play games. I don't play. I just don't have time. That's not my thing. They're gamers, and I know Phil Lamar. I mean, those guys are gamers, and I just haven't. Like I said, that first Ratchet and Clank game, I think, is the only game I've ever played all the way through. I did get close on Resistance, the Resistance series from Insomniac, to finishing those games. That was kind of fun. But what happens to me is I get down this rabbit hole, and all of a sudden 5 hours have gone by, and I'm like, I haven't done anything. I'm open to getting down with the games again, but I'll go down a deep hole and it'll be 6 hours, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Nolan North never played Uncharted before, and that took about 12 episodes.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah.
It takes time. I mean, you agree with me, right? You gotta invest some time. I'm more afraid of what happens if I start playing games.
Well, I can also tag myself. I say tag myself like I've tagged myself with James Arnold Taylor, the great. I can also tag myself with Ben 10, because we have had Yuri Lowenthal on.
Oh, yes. Yuri. There's another class act, man. I've worked with Yuri a lot in different things, but yeah, Yuri is great. And of course, Insomniac, and he's Spider-Man, and we both had that connection with him over there. Yeah, he's great, man.
I mean, what's it like working on Ben 10? Because that's obviously more of a kid's show.
It was fun. I was brought in on Omniverse, and I always wanted to do an ode to my Uncle Terry, being from Canada. He had the accent, eh? Well, I got to play sock squash there, eh? Kind of got to do the thing. And everybody laughed, and so I was able to, shout out to my uncle. But all the different aliens and things was so much fun, playing Skurd and Frankenstrike. And I'm looking up at my type of toy, the Kyber toy up there. I really enjoyed playing Kyber the Huntsman on Omniverse. He was that sort of a South African character down in here. Never got too excited. I'll get you, Ben Tennyson. And I loved playing that character. He was so cool. And then, fast forward, Man of Action took over the franchise, and I felt pretty uncomfortable going in because friend Paul, Eiding, is my Grandpa Max. I mean, I used to watch Ben 10. So they had me read for that. I'm like, is this okay? It's just the nature of the beast. A new team comes in. And I was fortunate to be able to be cast as my first grandfather role, my grandpa role. I was excited and terrified at the same time because it was my first grandpa role. Second, of course, is I saw Paul once and said, hey, man, I'm really sorry. But he knows, and I just wanted to do my best with the role that I was given. But that was real fun. And it's just, it's my grandpa role. Ben, what the Sam Hill, Ben? How in the world, you kids? It was so fun to play Grandpa Max. And, again, hoping for more of those. I think the storyline's still developing, too, which is exciting. So I can't tell you anything. But, yeah, it's fun.
And then, of course, we have to talk about the other massive franchise that obviously you're associated with, which is Transformers.
Yes, Transformers. Yes. That's a little button. Excellent. Way back in the olden times, we used to go to conventions. They used to sell those buttons. 94. I was very new to the industry. I'd done G.I. Joe, Exo Squad, and then some other, bunch of anime, and this whole Transformers thing came around. Remember I talked about how Rachet and Clank, I got the audition for that. It was like a paragraph. I grew up on Bugs Bunny and those sort of weird cartoons, Tex Avery and strange stuff. So I wasn't really aware. And so the character breakdown, it was like a big Bible of characters, dialogue, relationships. There's like a stack of papers. I don't even remember the first read. Just somehow I got a call back. And I remember the call back thinking, man, I don't know what to do. They wanted me to read for both Optimus and Megatron, and all the people behind the glass and all the meerkats, they're looking around. So I'm sitting in there waiting to go in. I go, I don't know. Sort of the last minute, I tell this story all the time. Sean Connery and Anthony Hopkins. What if I combine those two with a lizard? Like, how would that sound? And I remember going in and being nervous and, hey, everyone, hi, hey, good to see you guys, hi. I said, okay, let's give it a shot, just give it a run-through. So I started with the dialogue, and I just started talking, it was like a Sean Connery lisp, Anthony Hopkins, very Shakespearean, and I put this voice on, and I sort of developed a bit of a lisp, lizard-type thing. And, of course, as the show gets going, you kind of fall into the role. It became this very Shakespearean in here, in the throat. Yes, excellent. And that's what they cast me as. I remember reading for Optimus, but I don't even remember what I did for it. It might have been close to the Optimus Prime I did in animated. It was more of my normal voice. In that series in 2007, I still hear the first 4 or 5 episodes. I'm like, oh, it's not. And then I kind of dropped into it where it's mostly my voice, just Bumblebee. We have to find Megatron. He was younger sounding in those first few episodes. I was still trying to find out who I was and who this robot was. Again, I guess it made sense. But the Megatron character, man, that sort of started the whole thing where I was in radio at the time doing a morning show, and I was part of a morning team, and I was doing crazy characters like Cowboy Dick, howdy boys and girls, and doing all these, Danger Boy and Stuntman, and I found my calling, and I said, well, how do I quit this and just do that? And that became my goal, is to just do voiceover on my own terms and not have to go and do a radio show and sit there for 4 or 5 hours and go, oh, okay. Because that was what I was doing. I was going to be a radio person. I was going to go into radio. And then I found this, and I went, oh, now this I love. This I can hang my hat on. How do I make this work? And that was all thanks to Megatron. Once that happened, I went, okay, there's a whole other world here. Now, I started paying attention and went to New York and met all those people, and eventually ended up down here because of Transformers. They've been great to me, man, and I can't thank them enough. Who would have thought? After that, things started kind of hopping. Yeah, you're Megatron. That would open doors. At a bar, you're Megatron. Yes, I am Megatron. Do you remember an old radio station that you probably don't? Atlantic 252. They were based out of Ireland. I used to do their voice of the station years ago. I had a whole gaggle of stations. I still do in North America and parts of Europe. I started doing like promos, more commercials. In LA, I've always wanted to do movie trailers, and I have a great management team, and I've been able to do that, and it's just been a dream come true. For a career, the best move I made was coming here to Los Angeles, and all started there.
Well, obviously, I need to go on about the cons and the conventions, which I'm guessing that you've been to, where people do cosplay and fan art and ask wonderful questions like, if Megatron and Clank had a conversation, what would it sound like?
I fear those questions. And people ask them because they know I fear those questions. Did you want me to do a conversation between Megatron and Clank?
I was going to say, would you be able to do a conversation with Clank and Megatron about COVID-19?
I suppose I could. I believe I may have a cure.
A cure? I know the cure. The cure is a good dose of oil bath with a rubber duck, if I may.
Oh no, not that again.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. Rubber ducky, so much fun. COVID-19 will be over if we all just wash our hands in oil. Come here, ducky.
Oh dear, I've created a monster.
I wish I was funnier.
Oh, dear me. I think that's sort of made up for no cons whatsoever this year. Oh, dear. So, obviously, I do have to go on about cosplaying and fan art. I imagine that you do get quite a bit. What kind of fan art have you had so far, and cosplaying of your characters?
I still have 12 rubber ducks stashed away. One is in my studio, and I'm looking at it right now. I put one on the shelf. Some of the drawings are amazing. Some of these people should be in the industry working. Some of the stuff I get. I was in Seattle last year, and this boy and his mom came. He's autistic and a wonderful kid, and he throws his energy and time into these pieces of art, all to do with pop culture and Transformers. And I was blown away by how good this stuff was. And there's these little beads. I'm looking at an Optimus, a Transformers animated character. It's those beads, you iron together. They're like little colored beads. They're kind of flat with little holes in it. And this person did an amazing Optimus Prime.
Obviously, you go to cons, and the number one question that people ask you is, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to get into the industry?
Wow. That always makes me speechless sometimes, because it seems to change every so often. Right now, you've got out-of-work people in the industry that are not in voiceover thinking, hey, maybe I can try voiceover. So now it's even more crowded. See, the thing is, when I asked that question way back, there were people willing to give me some information. There's no roadmap. There's no magic, potion or whatever. There's no one right thing. You have to really want to do it. I noticed when I started working and coming to Los Angeles that your audition has to be good enough to go to air. It's having the right representation, and getting the representation, of course, that's a catch-22, is you have to have a demo or you have to know what you're doing. I'd say, improv and theater training and all that sort of stuff. Being able to be as natural as you can behind the microphone and using your own voice will get you the gig. Because no matter what voice you do, if you're doing a voice other than your own, that voice has to have a soul and a character and a heart. It has to be real. If you're doing this guy, he's got to have a heart and a soul. He's got to be a real person. He has to have feelings. He's got to be able to cry and laugh. He has to have a life story, just like you have a life story. I suggest reading a ton, and just, of course, when we could travel, I would always say, travel as much as you can. I'm like, oh boy, well, that's a weird thing to say right now.
I was going to ask you, are there any roles that you haven't done yet that you would like to do?
Star Wars! But that's too late now. Well, maybe not, because they're doing, oh my God, The Mandalorian. Have you seen that? Oh, so good. Oh, so good. It was my first love when I was a kid, went to the movie theater to see those, the first ones. And fast forward, I worked with Mark Hamill, a bunch of times. So working with Mark was a lot of fun. I worked with him in Avengers Assemble, and some of that stuff with Marvel. I digress, because one of my favorite things was to work with Stan Lee and Mark Hamill in the same day, in the same room. That was incredible. That was a dream come true. So my love for Star Wars goes way back. I don't care if they make a crappy movie. I'm still watching. I'll still love it. I don't care what anybody says. I don't pay attention to any of it. It's just, Star Wars. Just to be a character involved in that would be so cool. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask, you mentioned about Marvel and the fact that you've done various Marvel projects. Is Jarvis, you do the computer Jarvis.
Yes.
How on earth are you not the voice actor doing Jarvis in the films? I don't get that.
I was a much bigger fan of his.
I'm not as good as he is.
I was just, yes, sir, right away, sir. Incoming, sir. And of course, he becomes Vision. And that was just so much fun. I like doing Baron von Zemo. He died a glorious death. Or did he? I met Stan. He goes, "What do you do on the show?" And I said, "Well, right now I'm Jarvis, and I, Vision. I play Baron von Zemo." He goes,
"Oh, give me a bit of Baron von Zemo. What's he sound like?"
And I did this thing here, Mr. Lee. It's a pleasure to meet you, but I must be going. I have to take over the world. What was the question?
How come you're
How
not
am I
Jarvis?
not? Yeah, well, motion pictures are a bit different. David who? David what? No, give me a star. Give me someone who can sell a picture.
So, obviously, I'm going to give you a 1 minute plug. And with that 1 minute plug, I want you to obviously tell us a bit about Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, I play Ford Cruller.
He's a little crazy, but he's back, and it's Psychonauts 2, and we go deeper and darker.
There's a trailer out there right now. You can watch the E3 trailer for Psychonauts 2, and you get an idea of what you're in for. I can say it looks fantastic. The game should be out pretty soon. I've been given the go-ahead to talk about, that I am reprising the role of Ford Cruller, and he's coming back. As far as what the game is like, obviously I can't tell you anything, but it looks incredibly fun and insanely good, and there's some great people working on it, so I hope you enjoy it.
I did do this with James. I'm going to do it with you, I think. I gave him 1 minute to do as many voices
Oh, see, he's good at that.
that he has done in his career. And now I'm going to bequeath it to you.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Gosh, let me try. There's Megatron. Yes, excellent. Predacons, terrorize. Optimus Prime. Bumblebee, we have to find and stop Megatron as quickly as we can. Transform and roll out. Vision from Avengers Assemble. Right away, sir. Something's wrong, sir. It's not quite working. I did Iron Man a long time ago, and basically he talked like this. Tony Stark at your service. Who else? Baron von Zemo, like I did before, so take over the world. The giant baby from Reginald the Giant Baby and regular show. Yes, where is the cake?
Clank from Rachet and Clank.
This is Shomaru from Inuyasha. Jockin. Where are you, Jockin? That is the last time, Jockin. And then, of course, who else is there? There's Kaiba the Huntsman, Ben Tennyson. Frankenstrike?
Scud. Yes, my name is Scud, and oh dear, what have we got to do?
Superman. Okay. Bizarro Superman. I'm lost. I don't even know how many there is. Yo, Joe. Quick, follow me toward the danger. Yo, Joe. That was him. Grandpa Max from Ben 10. Trolls, King Peppy, Trolls The Beat Goes On from DreamWorks. And King Peppy say like this, oh dear, well, you're my daughter. I don't care what you do. I'll always love you. Oh, James is so good. I just realized that just how good he is and how mediocre.
Well, I saved the best question for you, which is saved for all people who are actors and voiceover artists from Canada. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. Which is the best Canadian city, Vancouver or Toronto?
Neither of those. Kelowna, British Columbia, has my heart. Kelowna is between the coast and Vancouver and Calgary, Alberta. It's in the middle there in British Columbia. It is wine country. It's mountains. It's skiing in the wintertime, freshwater lakes. It is stunningly beautiful. And my God, I miss not being able to go up there right now. We usually go up and spend some time up there quite a bit. And we can't get to our place because the borders are closed. First thing we're going to do is when we're able to, and when I feel safe, is not fly. We're going to take the Tesla. We're going to drive from here, and we're going to go all the way up through Northern California wine country. We're going to hit Oregon wine country and Washington, and we're going to cross the border up into Canada near a place called Soyuz, which is this is the border between Washington State and British Columbia. And we're going to spend some quality time up there when we're able to. That's the first thing we're going to do. I don't know when that is, but that's what we're going to do. So Kelowna, British Columbia, that's where my heart is, and that's my favorite city in Canada.
Whoops-a-daisy, I forgot to add Montreal to that question.
Montreal. Let me say, Montreal, it's like you have this different country within a country. Montreal is a great city. It's a beautiful city.
The accent is a bit, the French Canadian accent, sort of the side of your mouth there, like it's a little bit harsher than the Parisian France. Paris is very, very soft in Paris.
Canada's sexiest city is Montreal, and the province, La Belle Province. They're having a tough time right now there with COVID. It's a shame. So yeah, I love Montreal. I spent many years in Vancouver. Again, my favorite Canadian city is Kelowna, British Columbia. So I still have to stick with that.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
Likewise, I hope I didn't go off on too many tangents. I tend to do that. That's just the way I am. Again, it just reminds me of how good James Arnold Taylor is and how mediocre. Hang my head in shame. I need to take some lessons from him.
Thanks very much for your time, David.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.